Hello and welcome internet to another video. This is a build battle where I compete against EnderStarr and Funcat to build an underground base in an hour, so let's get into that with a time lapse of the building process as I speak over it. So my idea for an underground base was to hide an entrance in a little sort of cave at first. As you can see, I attempted to build a piston door, but I was not happy with that, so I expanded this into a cave and explored it a little bit to get more of an actual cave look. I would add like vines and stuff and a lot of little terraforming. I was very nervous at this point as I was not confident and I didn't have a strong idea of what I wanted to do to compete against the others. But as you can see here, I just keep building. I add an actual piston door and I try to hide it with vines. So this little cave doesn't mean much, but it served as an entrance to kind of hide it, but not really. You can see I experimented with a lot of things like cobwebs, but I didn't like them. Overall, this build was really basic from me and not much inspiration except from previous builds of me. But you can see here I'm like adding details like a waterfall, vines, and redstone torches to give it an ominous kind of look. I had no idea what the competition was doing at this point and was very nervous as I was scared like my build would be absolutely terrible. But it was okay, I think, in the end. Now we have like a classic little entrance bit like of the actual underground base. I've added like sea lanterns and quartz and blackstone, which are a pattern I use quite often in my survival world. So it doesn't surprise me that I use this. I also added a skylight, which I thought would be cool. My base was definitely not the most secret, and I thought for the sake of it, I'd add some big salmon, as we all love. As you can see here, I experimented with how I was going to do it, then I realised I was drowning them, well, in air. And I kept building that tank. Then expanded the base again to make like the central hub really, where I'd have storage. And yet again using inspirations from my actual underground base with grass, which was fun. I could have done more creative stuff, but even though we had an hour, it was still very rushed from me. I was trying to get the most out of it that I could and just not stop building, which I think worked out in the end. I did my classic little chest silo, not as normally as nice as I do. I experiment with this a few times in the video that you'll see. Like, I add item frames eventually, I believe. Also, a thing I tried to do with this base was to make it a bit satirical with the things like I did. I will later add salmon as all the item frames for the storage because I thought that would work. I'll put a little bit of music and then I'll go back to talking as there's not much commentary I can do for this bit. So at this point I had tried to build basic things for a base, like a bedroom, like an enchanting room, and I did try here to destroy the chest and replace it with like a workroom, but I hated it, so a couple of experimentations. The main disturbing thing I did was the basement, which you will see. I had a lot more plans, but it didn't go as well, sadly. Here you can see the best thing I probably did, and voila. They are in their cage, and then I decided to add some treasure to make it more feel like something you'd want to keep safe in the underground base right beside your prisoners, because that's how we do things here apparently. At this point, the main structure of everything I was going to do was done. I just went around trying to find anything that I could do to improve it. This is where I add the treasure. I tried to blend it in. It didn't look that good, but it got the point across, I think. Then I don't even know what's happening. Then we're almost done here. As you can see, I'm typing. I think we had like a minute left at this point or something, and I whacked out this crafting room. I don't know if I completely closed it off. I think I did actually, as I wanted to add an entrance to it, but I had no time, so I just got rid of it. And I was like, oh goodness, that'll have to do. The last thing I did was tame a dog. And we'll go and judge everyone else's, I guess, now. After debating who should go first, I finally settled. It was like, oh, I guess I'll get mine over and done with, as I was like, yeah, mine's awful. I don't think it is awful, but it was, you can see like the final result of everything. The big salmon, of course, as I type salmon out very slowly. EnderStarr and Funcat are just looking around. This is the first base we all went and judged. We didn't really judge, like we just had a look basically. I was quite happy with this wing as it actually went outside a bit with the windows and brought in some natural light. Sadly I didn't have anything in those chests as I didn't want to go to that effort. The rest of the base you guys have already seen basically, so we'll switch to the next one. All they had to say was that it was okay. Well, they didn't say it was okay, they were quite nice about it, but I think it was an okay base given the time and lack of ideas and whatnot. The only cool things were like the villages in the basement. Here we arrive at Justin's base to look at his. He was just chilling in a pond. I think me and Funcat lost him for a bit. But this is his base. He has water fountains, not water fountains, whatever you call them, water elevators. His base is pretty cool as he also had a big salmon, so he did flex that. I think his tank was probably better. And his base has a giant chicken making Jack Cuff happy, so he probably wins for that regard, just having the giant chicken. And he had a chest room with barrels and stuff. I think it was pretty cool though with like the chicken. There was a bit more creativity than mine. But we did use similar materials surprisingly enough in different ways. And the big salmon thing is obviously a must do. So we'll move on to Funcat's base, which will be the final one. Here we are arriving at Funcat's base, which is mainly redstone, and the most hidden definitely. I kind of figured straight away that you needed a hoe to enter, but I didn't know where, and it was very complicated redstone that I've seen. Here you can see EnderStarr getting stuck a bit there. I don't know why I hoed that block, it was that one. The cool thing about this is it like automatically removed like any trace. Sadly, Funcat couldn't really finish much interior, but the actual redstone was really impressive for the entrance and exit. I think she said that's what took her the majority of the time, which is fine. It's interesting seeing like different people's ideas and perspectives. I know this was a main thing that they wanted to do, so at least they got that done, and in the future I guess they could do different things. I don't know, I'm not one to judge. But all the bases were pretty cool, and it was like a fun experience to do this for an hour. like just building, hoping for the best. So thank you to EnderStarr and Funcat for doing this, especially Funcat, who like came up with the idea to collaborate, and the poll and everything a lot of you probably voted on. So yeah, that's it for the video, and thank you for watching. The end.